Alberta Primetime with Michael Higgins.
Welcome to Alberta Primetime. Ahead tonight, our politics panel on the road ahead for the Progressive Tory Party. But first, a drive for independence.
We are now live gathering signatures to rescue Alberta from the clutches of people in Ottawa.
Jeffrey Rath was the first to sign the petition seeking a referendum on the question, do you agree that the province of Alberta should cease to be part of Canada to become an independent state? And organizers now have until May 2nd to collect nearly 178,000 signatures. Joining us now is petition proponent Mich Sylvestre, CEO of the Alberta Prosperity Project. Mr. Sylvestre, welcome to Alberta Primetime. Appreciate your time this evening.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right. How mobilized are you to begin collecting signatures? What should Albertans expect of your canvassing campaign?
Canvassing campaign is going to be province-wide. What we're going to do is we're going to probably hit every community in the province, and we're mobilizing a large group of volunteers to actually accomplish that and get that done. We're getting our canvassers approved. We're asking for more canvassers. And, we've started collecting signatures already, as you saw in the clip on the introduction.
The Forever Canadian petition was fairly straightforward. Its message, stay in Canada. Your petition calls for considerable change. How prepared are those canvassers to answer the myriad of questions many Albertans will have about independence?
Well, I think they're very prepared. I think we're more prepared to take them to town halls and have a 2-hour discussion with them. And we have town halls all over the province running every night. So we're running 3 a day right now. So people will have the opportunity to have a real lengthy discussion and, listen to the facts as we present them and give them the opportunity to make up their mind on how they feel the future of Alberta should look.
What's funding your campaign?
So right now we're a grassroots organization. We have no major donors or no major people funding it. We're funding our campaign based on the donations from the grassroots people. We have to, Elections Alberta tracks every penny. So we're going to understand that the funding is going to come from a specific place. It's going to be marked down, and we're going to have to account for every penny when we spend it. So right now we're starting at zero, and we're looking forward to raising enough money to take this to the end.
Okay. It's been reported that in the build-up to the campaign, your organization visited Washington, D.C. on 3 occasions, met with some level of U.S. government officials. How did this referendum drive factor into those discussions?
Well, everybody's talking. We're talking, based on the future, based on the fact that, I understand this. We're not government. We're just going there as individual citizens. They're curious who are leading this petition. They're curious to see how that's going to work, if it's going to affect them, how it's going to affect them, and potential conversations on what could happen moving forward. But that's all going to be for another day. They just want to understand the process. They basically didn't understand the process until we cleared it up. We explained it to them. And you know what? We're just making liaisons for something that could help the new Alberta government, if that becomes the case, move forward with our largest trading partner.
And did you ask for any level of support from U.S. authorities? Did they offer any level of support?
I don't think we're there yet. I think there's been conversation about that, but no, I don't think that's it's definitely not signed and sealed for sure. We've had discussions on a myriad of other things. Lots of things that the biggest thing that they're concerned about is border security. So that was something that we touched on. We touched on the fact we're talking about free trade. We're talking about all manner of stuff that we have no purview to do anything about. But maybe get some kind of idea on what their thoughts moving forward would be in case that we become a free and independent country and we're their northern border.
Okay, you have ties to the UCP, chair of the party's Bonnyville Cold Lake Constituency Association. Is that still the case?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So if it is that you're successful in collecting the required number of signatures, what are your expectations of the Smith government in moving this referendum process forward and taking Alberta to independence?
Well, you know what? I'm thinking that the government is giving us basically the opportunity to collect these signatures, same as they gave Mr. Lukaszuk. The Premier's stance on this is fairly clear. She's an independent Alberta within Canada person. We, however, feel that after the last federal election, that doesn't seem like Alberta's needs are going to be served by the federal government in Ottawa, and just very much the opposite. I think it's become very clear to us that not only do they not want us to prosper, they actually want to sabotage industry. So if that's the case, that the federal government wants to sabotage the biggest industry that we have in the country by far, how are we expected to pay back all the money that they keep borrowing?
Now, the narrative Mr. Lukazik, Thomas Lukazik drove through his petition was that a referendum seeking actual separation would take a toll economically. How do you counter the concerns that maybe you risk driving away business, scaring off investment?
Well, I can't see that we could do any worse than Ottawa is doing right now. Mr. Carney's had $85 billion in investment leave the country since he's prime minister. I just don't think that. I think they're consciously trying to sabotage industry here, and I think that actually just the opposite. A free and independent Alberta would create probably a boom.
What would a political landscape look like in an independent Alberta? What do you envision for governance?
Well, you know what? We have a discussion paper, draft constitution, done and prepared, and it's going to be released here this week. The idea is if we have a free and independent, if we win the referendum, within 2 months we'll have a constitutional conference, and the people will get to decide how they want their government to look. And based on the Constitution, that will be prepared then. And then at that point, you know what, we'll move forward to an actual election within a year. That's the plan. But, you know, I mean, the government that's in place is going to have to make that transition smooth and going to be in charge of making that happen, actually.
Should there be a provincial election before a referendum on your question is held so that Albertans know where their political representatives stand on this issue of independence?
Well, I think, yeah, I'm not in charge of that either, but you know what, I would prefer to get the referendum question done. And then after that, we'll see if Albertans actually have the will to take this another step.
Maybe one more question for you. The Forever Canadian petition took up a lot of oxygen. There are also no fewer than 26 petitions underway to recall Alberta MLAs. Are you worried at all Albertans might be getting petitioned out?
Well, we're certainly not seeing it in our town halls. As a matter of fact, we've got people lining up across the street to get in. Every town hall, we've had 5 town halls since Tuesday night, and they've all been full to capacity or more. And if we had more people there to collect signatures, we'd have collected probably everybody that came in the door. We just didn't have the capacity because we don't have enough canvassers approved to handle the volume. And that's a really good problem because we'll come back and have another event and a big one, and we'll actually make sure that we do have the volume.
Do you have a target number of petition signatures overall?
Well, I think it would be a disappointment to have less than what Mr. Lukazik had. I think that's a legitimate target. I think the ultimate target is to get everybody in Alberta to sign it. All
right. We'll have to leave it there for time. Appreciate getting your perspective this evening, Mr. Sylvestre. Thank you, sir. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me. Mich Sylvestre is CEO of the Alberta Prosperity Project.